Hi.
Hi to you too.
Hi, Crab.
And welcome to you too.
Yes, welcome back to the Timmy Tom Show, everybody.
Yes.
Sorry about the toe right there.
That's okay.
Yeah, you didn't need that one.
I've got 9 others that
Yeah.
compensate.
Well, today we got a headline reaction video. And so everybody, need you to stop what you're doing, listen to this video. And before you do that, make sure you subscribe to the Timmy Tom Show. If you're watching on YouTube, it's free to do so. All you gotta do is hit that beautiful subscribe button and then like this video. It helps the algorithm push the content out more. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you share us.
Mm-hmm. And if you're the evil people who are listening in so you can cancel us, God, take away their hearing.
Actually, open their spiritual ears.
Open their spiritual ears, but close the other ones.
Well, we got a headline reaction video.
Okay.
So I'm going to read you some headlines like I always do, and then we'll both react.
Okay.
All right. So some interesting news coming out of Canada recently, just up north.
Yes?
Just today, Justin Trudeau said people can no longer buy, sell, or transfer handguns within Canada. They cannot bring newly acquired handguns into the country, and they've already banned more than 1,500 types of assault-style firearms.
It means like a slingshot or a rubber band? Yeah.
Yeah. These assault weapons.
Okay.
And we'll continue to do whatever it takes to keep guns out of our communities.
I'd love that. I like that. I think that's a wonderful thing. Chinese, Russians, are you listening? No guns in Canada. Huh? Sounds great, doesn't it, guys? And we know the U.S. is in no position to step in and do anything for Canada, so come on over.
Well, it gets down to the heart of the person here. Like, guns aren't the problem. I forgot where it was. I think it was in like Britain or Australia. It was some place where they had gun control, and one guy went on a mass stabbing attack. They
did that in England. They've done it here. And I'm not sure about Australia, but I know they did it in England.
Yeah, a mass stabbing attack. And it's like, did Cain have a gun when he killed Abel?
No. God banned all assault weapons before then.
That's right. See, God was smart.
Well, listen, there were no guns in the Garden of Eden, right? I'm going to use the common logic today.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
There were no guns on the moon, right? So obviously God banned guns from the moon.
Sure.
Like we should do here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyways, this highlights we need to get to the heart of the matter and not just address the issue. You said something before this, that we live in a Band-Aid society.
We live in a Band-Aid society.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
mean by that?
Well, I was looking at all the headlines and things that are going on. You know, we have this program to take care of this problem. It doesn't take care of the problem. For example, crime is real high in California.
Right.
So what do? Do we reduce crime? No. But we pass a law that if someone robs you of $950 or less, it's no longer a major crime. Now you get a ticket for that if they catch you.
That's nice.
So what we've done is we don't solve the problem, but we whip out this Band-Aid that we try to put over the thing.
Yeah.
Of course, the sore is this big and the Band-Aid's only this big, but we do that.
Looks like you're bleeding from the jugular there.
That's right.
Would you like a little Band-Aid?
I need a Band-Aid. That's all we need is a Band-Aid. The same is true in medicine. Medicine today in America, unfortunately, doesn't treat the problem. Watch the ads on TV. Every ad on TV treats the symptoms, treats the effects, takes away the pain you feel, but it doesn't cure the thing that causes the pain.
This antidepressant may cause thoughts of suicide and may cause harm to this and this and that and that.
Right. Yeah. I love reading the disclaimers. They say a lot of things on the commercials, but if you read the bottom of the commercials, the disclaimers are really good. And when it says, and this is the perfect thing. If you're experiencing heartburn and so and so and so, take this and you'll get instant relief. And in the bottom it says, may actually cause death. And,
if you're dead, see your doctor.
Yeah. Well, you know, that death is the ultimate ceaser of pain.
You hope. Well,
it ceases this pain. It doesn't cease the judgment pain.
Speaking of medicine, the CDC just voted unanimously to have the COVID-19 vaccine be a part of the child's immunization records.
Oh, yes. That means before a kid can go to school, they must be inoculated against, and now it's COVID-19. The CDC also this week, in an amazing decision, said 6-month-olds should get the COVID shot.
Yeah.
6 months old should get the COVID shot.
That makes no
God
sense.
designed babies to be immune from all kinds of things that even adults are not immune from, because he knew that during those first few months of life, babies can't do much protecting of themselves, and sometimes parents can protect them, and sometimes they can't.
Yeah.
But to give COVID vaccines to 6 months old, oh really? Oh, that's right, they do get money for that, don't they? Oh my goodness, I thought it was all truistic and from the heart because they really wanted to prevent something. And talk about a Band-Aid.
Well, let me tell you a Band-Aid quick.
Okay, give me a Band-Aid.
The director of Pfizer, just, I think it was in Holland or something like that, Dutch. Anyways, the director of Pfizer said, she was asked, did you test the COVID-19 juice before, and see if it stopped transmission before you recommended it for everybody and had lockdowns? And she said no. We were moving with the speed of science. So basically, we were the experiment.
Yeah.
Well, not you and I, because
that's good, because now Pfizer can say, yeah, we tested it. We tested it on millions of people around the world.
And it didn't do anything.
Ah.
In fact, we might get banned for this. There's a very interesting correlation between being a conspiracy theorist and not having myocarditis.
Yes, there is.
Yes.
I don't know what the cause is.
Yeah.
But also there's an interesting connection that they just researched. I just saw the beginnings of the research on it, that women are who get the COVID vaccine are having a harder time with their pregnancies.
Yep.
Getting pregnant less on average, and their pregnancies are more difficult.
And other studies are showing that even if you're not pregnant, your monthly cycle is a lot worse.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about another headline.
Okay.
Microsoft,
Yes.
inspired by the public's response, this is their Twitter, on our 2022 Pride flag, we're expanding our design to represent the 40 LGBTQIA+, I'm going to add A, B, C, D, E, X, Y, Z, communities, and making it available for everyone to use to build on. Now, guess what this flag looks like?
I can't imagine.
Okay, just imagine
40 different colors?
Yeah, imagine like an LSD acid trip. That's pretty much what this is. See that?
Oh, you know what that reminds me of? Anybody who's old enough and never used a kaleidoscope? Remember one of those little things you used to twist it like this and it would change the image and it was all different colors and lines going?
That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what that flag looks like.
Yep. It reminds me of on Willy Wonka when they're on the boat and they're going in the all the neon colors and he's like, it's not stopping.
That's right.
That's what this is.
It does look like somebody on a bad acid trip made the flag.
You know what the first thing I think of though is? Confusion.
Well, I wonder who the author of confusion is.
It's not God, because we know God is the author of life.
And the author of order.
Yep.
Must be somebody other than God who authors confusion.
Yeah. Speaking of more lies, this one is such a blatant lie. And it's like the people who always claim we're for the party of science, right?
Oh, yes. The following the science.
The Guardian posted an image of a 9-week pregnancy. And they said, this is what pro-lifers are trying to defend. And it was the image, I'll show it to you, and we'll post it so you guys can see. This is what they said a 9-week pregnancy looked like.
Wait a minute.
At 9 weeks, you can already detect the heartbeat.
That's right.
In fact, at 21 days, that's what it
really
is what
looks
a
like.
9-week-old baby looks like.
Well,
is such a blatant lie.
Oh, yeah. And unfortunately, we're living in an era where blatant lies work because people are unable or unwilling to do some real in-depth research to find the truth.
And the truth is, if you really believe abortion is such a good thing, why do you have to lie about it like this?
Yeah.
Why do you have to lie about what is actually in the baby? Oh my gosh. We don't just produce clumps of cells. You mean human beings produce other human beings?
That's very strange.
Isn't it?
It doesn't happen anyplace else in the animal kingdom. I mean, dogs don't produce dogs, and cows don't produce cows, and I don't. Why would we ever think that humans would produce humans? I don't know. These headlines are great and they're interesting, but they can be really depressing sometimes.
Well, you're going to love our next one.
Okay, good. Go for it.
Last one.
I haven't had a good depression in 4 or 5 minutes.
This is our last tough one.
Okay.
So this is Stacey Abrams. Let me show you the video.
I am aware who Stacey Abrams is.
Don't you love our girl Stacey Abrams?
Well, she wanted to be chosen as Biden's vice president, but he wanted to upgrade and he got Kamala instead. I mean, as the upgrade.
Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
I just asked you, you're running for governor of Georgia. I would assume, maybe incorrectly, but while abortion is an issue, it nowhere reaches the level of interest of voters in terms of the cost of gas, food, bread, milk, things like that. What could you do as governor to alleviate the concerns of Georgia voters about those livability, daily, hourly issues that they're confronted with?
But let's be clear. Having children is why you're worried about your price for gas. It's why you're concerned about how much food costs. For women, this is not a reductive issue. You can't divorce being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy from the economic realities of having a child. And so it's important for us to have both and conversations. We don't have the luxury of reducing it or separating them out, but we also have to talk about what a governor can do. A governor can address housing prices. A governor can address the cost of education. A governor can put money into the pockets of everyday hardworking Georgians instead of giving tax cuts to the wealthy.
That's enough of that.
And how does one do that? Talk about a Band-Aid. Abortion is the biggest Band-Aid there is.
Yeah.
I don't hear pro-abortion people ever talking about pregnancy prevention. If you use one of the dozens of methods of preventing a pregnancy, then you're not forced to have this burdensome child that's going to economically break you. That's what she just said.
Yeah.
The gas prices are high because you have a baby, and food is high because you have a baby, and your house isn't worth as much because, not inflation, it's because of the baby.
Yeah.
Well, Stacey,
you should have been able to abort that baby rather than care for him.
Stacey, if you had any power at all, you'd go back and abort yourself because you wouldn't be a burden on your parents either. I said it, but the logic of this is there is no logic to it.
Yeah.
There is no thinking to it. And one of the really illogical things is women complain, somebody's trying to do something to my body that I don't want.
Yeah.
But they're willing to do something to a baby's body
Exactly.
without the baby's permission.
Yeah.
That is the biggest hypocrisy.
It is.
And it grinds me down when I think about that kind of stuff.
Okay, well.
Yes.
There is some good news.
I love it.
Okay.
Let's do the good news. I like
the
to
good
smile.
news is we got some interesting things happening because Oregon is set to be poised to elect their first Republican governor in 4 terms.
Wow.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Portland, Seattle,
I know.
Seattle, Washington.
Oh,
Portland,
the cities that had burnings every night for a year and a half
Chaz
without
and
stopping
Chop.
them. Oh, yes.
It's almost like everybody got their taste of what the left really wanted and said, oh, guess what? We're vaccinated against that now. Just give you a little dose of socialism to figure out, oh, it sounds good on paper, but it's really not. I really don't like this. Because the minute it shows up my door and says, if you don't bow to BLM, then, we're going to destroy your family and destroy your life. That's when it gets real. Also, Kari Lake.
Oh, yes, governor of Arizona.
She's a Trump-endorsed candidate.
Yeah.
Every Trump-endorsed candidate is killing it right now. They're beating out like Liz Cheney. They're beating out Adam Kinzinger. All these people, establishment rhinos.
Yeah.
Kari
how
Lake.
hard it is to beat an incumbent?
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Kari Lake is ahead of Katie Hobbs by 5 points.
Lord,
Katie
put
Hobbs.
the people you want in those positions.
Katie
of authority.
Hobbs' campaign is crumbling because she won't debate Kari Lake. She won't answer questions from journalists. She won't do anything. She just hides.
Well, Joe Biden showed that the best way to get more votes than any other man in the history of America
Campaign
for
from your
president
basement.
is to stay in your basement and don't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
It ought to be really clear to everybody now that that's the way to win an election, isn't it?
Yeah. All that just really goes to show you that the left's idea of utopia, where we're genderless and the patriarchy's dead and women can do whatever they want with their body, and everybody gets the same amount of pay, and there's no poor, and there's no this and that, and there's no racism. Their idea of what that looks like put in practice is actually widely unpopular. In fact, Tulsi Gabbard, who's a Democrat, who was running for president as a Democrat, has now defected from the Democrat Party and become a Republican. Now, she's still pro-abortion and, supports LGBTQ stuff.
Right.
However, you're on the right track.
She's beginning to see the light.
And it's like the reason why we vote Republican or not Democrat is because if you look at the platform, the Republican platform lines up more with biblical values because we focus more on the rights of the individual, right? And so we believe those rights come from God. And so if you can drink from the streams of liberty, right? Anybody, whether you're Democrat or Republican, you should be drinking from the streams of liberty because it should lead you to the Lord. However, the Democratic platform is demonic and of the devil. And that's just plain what it is. If you want to kill babies, that's demonic.
Yes. And
There's
if you
no
have to go through all the rigmarole to try to pretend that it's not really a baby.
If you have to post a little picture that said, "Oh, look,
It looks it's a
like
cloud.
it looks like coconut oil."
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Or the heartbeat that mothers hear at 6 weeks or more, in addition to their own heartbeat.
Yeah.
That second heartbeat is manufactured by men who are trying to control women's bodies. I believe that's what
that was our girl
Abrams.
Stacey Abrams
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, that's
Well, last one, Florida, Ron DeSantis, he just banned transgender stuff bathrooms. So basically, if you're a man, you have to go in the same.
If you're a biological man.
If you're a biological man, you have to go in the bathroom related to your biological sex. You cannot go into the women's restroom.
There you go.
Pretty simple, right?
It is pretty simple because I have heard reports of young ladies who complained but were put down because the bathrooms at their schools and the shower rooms at their schools can be used by men who consider themselves to be women, and they're getting intruded upon, and they don't like it.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be a sad day. I hope people repent, and I hope everybody comes to a saving knowledge of Christ, because if you don't, when you stand before God in that day, like we talked about with John MacArthur and Gavin Newsom, it's a dreadful day.
Well, it is a dreadful day, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I would like everybody to come to Christ, and if you don't know anything about that, or you're not sure about that, we would appreciate if you would ask us any questions you want. Email us and ask us, because we want everybody to have the best information they can have, and then they can make their own decision. And I'll tell you, my personal view is I'd love to see you choose Christ. But if you really understand who Jesus is, what he did, what that means to you and me, and what God is inviting you and I to be part of, and you still want to thumb your nose at him and say, God, I don't want it, I say, God's not going to force you, and I'm not going to force you. So you've made your choice.
You're not going to force us, you Christian nationalist, you?
I don't want to force. No, because if I force you to receive Christ, you're not really receiving Christ. Receiving is, somebody put this great a long time ago, and I've always liked this. They said, look, somebody brings you something, and they say, here, it's a gift for you. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to give me anything in return. You don't have to do anything in return. What do you have to do with the gift? You have to receive it.
Yep.
If you don't receive it, It doesn't make any difference what the goodwill of the one who gives it to you is. It doesn't make any difference how valuable that gift will be to you. If you don't receive it, you haven't got it. That's the way Jesus is. That's the way God has it set up. He'll give it to you free of charge. But you have to take it. If you don't take it, what you've really said is, I don't want you and I don't want anything of you. And you know what's going to happen? On the day of judgment, when you stand before him, he's going to say, you had a chance.
Give you what you wanted.
And I'm going to give you what you chose.
Yeah.
Whatever happens to you now is what you decided would happen to you.
It's really tough, though, because with our God, who is standing at the gates of hell with his arms open saying, look at my hands, look at my side, like he did to Thomas, you literally have to climb over God's love to get there. Because God gives us free will, because it's not free will if you force someone to love you.
Right.
Right? He wants us. And he's made it possible, but it's only possible through Christ. And what I love, Tony Evans said, everybody comes to God the same way, through the cross. And the ground is extremely level.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's nobody who starts out ahead of anybody else or better than anybody else.
Yep.
We're all in the same problem soup.
What all these headlines show us is you have the good news where it's like, okay, these are people that fear God. And then you have the other people who think they are God. And it's, like Jack Gibbs puts it, they're probably thinking like, I'm God, I'm God. That's what, they probably sound to God. And we believe that there is a God and that we are not him.
That's right.
They believe that they are God. It tells you everything about the worldview.
Right. Well, it is, and it's interesting because sometimes you'll talk to people and they'll say, "Oh, well, I never said I was God.
Yeah,
I never said I was God." It's not what you say.
No, it's what you do.
It's what you do that reveals the truth.
Verb. It's what you do. That's the old commercial.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So you may not say those words, "I am
exactly.
God," but the way you act is you're saying, I'm more important than God.
Yeah.
My decisions are better than God's. My knowledge is more than God. Yeah. I can do what I want, when I want, the way I want, because I'm the boss.
Well, keep doing that. See how it works out for you.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, I want people to really understand, if you choose this, this is what happens.
Yeah.
You choose this,
this is what happens.
This is what happens.
Exactly.
But then you get to choose. Nobody forces you.
Exactly.
And that ought to be the pro-life people or the pro-choice people ought to be rallying around that. They ought to be praising that to the rooftop because it's pro-choice. But it's choice made on good information, not choice made on my propaganda only is the only thing you're going to hear.
Exactly. Yep. Well, speaking of that, we hope this helped you see through some of the propaganda. And we will see you next time on the Timmy Tom Show. Make sure you like the video and hit the subscribe on YouTube and also Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And we will see you later.
Yeah, and if you have comments for us, put those in too.
Yep, definitely. Yep. Okay. Sounds good, guys. We'll see you.
God bless you. Bye-bye.